My name is Tim Conybeare. I'm from the Waves for Change surf program in Cape Town, South Africa. I'm from the UK but live in Cape Town. So Waves for Change is it's a surf therapy program. We work with kids who have been adversely affected by dysfunctional domestic backgrounds, basically. So kids who have been exposed to domestic violence or emotional trauma, physical, sexual abuse, drug addiction in the home. And that's really our goal, is to take, there's 48% of kids who are dropping out of school and stabilise them, get them on a straight pathway. It started from me in the back of a car with 20 kids, and it's now 14 coaches trained and about 250 kids engaged each week. And a lot of people started coming saying it's amazing that this demographic of kids is engaged by this sport, because they're not typically easy children to deal with. If you're working with school dropouts or gang members or street kids, you need to engage them with something that is high risk, and surfing is high risk. We want the guys to be engaged for between 1 to 4 years in the program. They keep coming back, and it's to the same place. It's predictable, and it's cool. That's Bongani. So he's and this is Apish, and they're the two co-founders, the first two guys that got trained in Masi. Apish, he comes from a home that was very difficult, and he left home at the age of 16 and then got very little parental support. So actually grew up through his teenage years, relatively isolated, relatively alone. So he couldn't swim, he couldn't surf. He's grown into this amazing kind of mentor, basically. He's looking at kids and understanding how they work. I think he's a good example of what happens when you kind of show belief in someone, and he's been fantastic. It was about 2 months after we opened the Kailicha program. Brian Habana came down, Mornay came down, Duplessis, Mike Korn came down. I remember Mike going in the water, there were kids everywhere. The waves were actually quite big, quite powerful on the day, and I think they were quite surprised about how hardy the kids are. They're not scared at all by the challenge of the waves. Well, the funding from Laureus, Waves for Change wouldn't exist without it, pure and simply because Laureus was the first partner we ever had. Genuinely would not be here without that initial support. Waves for Change, it's very, very simple. It's surfing, it's reflective, it's looking in, basically. It's just showing people empathy, showing people patience.